So it's round 9 of the Altibox Norway Chess. Very exciting stuff. Actually, the last game is still being played, but I want to look at this game because it could be very important. Basically what happened, let's have a look at the standings. This game will just have a quick analysis. I haven't had time to look at it deeply, so it would just be, you know, superficial analysis of what I see or saw in the game. But as you see, before the last round, Magnus Carlsen, Caruana, Wesley So and Hikaru Nakamura were tied on +1. Carlsen and Nakamura quite quickly drew their games. Aronian with Nakamura, but Wishy had a chance to catch up, and that's the game we're going to look at. He had black pieces against Sergei Karjakin, and Karjakin opened with pawn to d4. Very universal, he likes to switch around. We have knight f6 by Anand, c4 e6, flexible. We can go to an IMSO Indian, we can go to d5 as he did in the game. Queen's Gambit declined, bishop e7, and now bishop f4, which is, to my mind, it seems more common these days than going bishop g5, this one at the top level. Castles, e3, c5. So black is trying to immediately take the game to white, counter-attack in the center. He wants his fair share of chances in this game. Bishop takes c5. White can inflict the, let's have the variation board. He can inflict black with a double pawn here. Sorry, isolated pawn. We can take with a knight or a pawn. Actually take with a knight, it's more common here. And after this, he takes d5. Okay, white still hasn't gotten castled, so it's not just about the double pawn. I keep saying double pawn when I mean isolated queen pawn. So black will get the pieces out and get some play. It's not all that clear. Going back, white didn't take on d5. Karjakin played queen to c2. This is a different line, knight c6, a3, queen a5. And there was similar stuff in the Aronian Nakamura game. I haven't had a chance to look at that. Long castles. Actually gonna have a quick look at the opening in the Nakamura game. I think it was very similar. d5, bishop e7, bishop f4, e3, c5 takes, bishop takes e5, queen c2, knight c6, rook d1. Okay, so in that game, Aronian played rook d1. That game was quickly drawn, but long castles is yeah, very competitive. And now Anand plays probably a move that was probably a surprise. That's my guess, knight to e4. Not the most common move, but having said that, Karjakin has already played this himself with the black pieces, and there's also a nice game by Garry Kasparov from 1992 from the European Championship, Team Championship, playing against Rafael Vaganyan, another Russian legend. So after knight e4, okay, what's going on here? Black wants to create some play. I mean, natural question is what happens if knight takes e4? It's actually a move that has been played after d takes e4. It looks tempting to take the pawn, and why not? But then you have to start calculating here. It seems like black is getting some interesting play. My initial feeling is white should be fine here, but there are some ideas of black could go maybe g6, intending e5, bishop f5, and it's always dangerous to leave your king, you know, exposed to lines like this. This reminds me a little bit of a game by Alpin Planets, which I covered here against Vaganyan, actually, where Planets had black. But Karjakin didn't accept the offer. He played, sorry about that, he played knight to b5, a6, and the knight jumps into c7, covered by the bishop. So it gets really tactical here, but there are already several games here, including Ivan Chuk against Karjakin, Garry Kasparov against Vaganyan, and Gelfand against Yusupov from 1992. Now e5. Rook takes d5. So e5 cut off the defense of the knight. So white is temporarily sacking the bishop on f4, but he gets the knight on e4 back because he took with the rook on d5. Queen takes e7, and white regains the piece with rook takes c5. And after f takes e3, bishop d3. White is setting up an attack here, lining up the queen and the bishop against h7, forcing g6, and now f takes e3. And at first glance, to me this looks like white should be attacking. I mean, he's up a pawn even. On the other hand, I mean, this king is also quite weak, probably weaker than this king. And this rook doesn't seem to have, you know, very great prospects on c5 at first glance. Bishop e6. Okay, we connect the rooks. You also cut off the escape square here on d5. Queen to h4. Rook a to e8. Seems to make sense. Get the rook on half open file. This could be a target. Bishop to e4. Queen b6 attacking the rook. But Sergei ignores it. He plays queen to h6. Now this is taboo because knight g5, you can't defend the mate unless you give up the queen. So instead Vichy plays f5, and now knight to g5. Again a mate threat here, but since we have the rook under attack, we can afford to play rook f7 here. And of course if you take on f7, I will take on c5, and now you have two pieces hanging here for white. Not a good deal, and you can't really create any threat, so good for black. Instead, white played bishop to d5. Now if I take on c5, I will take on e6. Then I will come back to g5 and take on f7. At first glance, I mean, where does the queen go even? I mean, maybe I want to maybe keep an attack here. If I go to b6, then maybe c5. Let's say I go to a7. Guessing that g5. Yeah, we can even allow this. Doesn't matter. This is very good for white. He's just going to win a piece. Okay. So this was bishop to d5. So Anand took on d5. Rook takes d5. Otherwise, if pawn takes, then rook takes is taken with check. Rook takes d5. Queen takes e3 check. King to b1. Now Anand doubles the rook. So we have equal material. And there shouldn't be a big problem here. White in some lines has to worry about his king being discovered. His king being a bit open. And you know, if you can land a knight on d4 and give a check here, then it seems like black has at least a perpetual. Rook h d1. Okay, prevents knight d4. Queen e2. And it seems white should be able to keep things even here with a move like rook d6, giving up the pawn. And this should be a perpetual, because if you interpose the rook, I will take on e8. So you don't really have a choice. I mean, you go here, give a check. And if you go to f8, there's a check on f6. And rook f7. And you start checking here. Then give a check here. And do I test the initiative? There's nothing to interpose. Unfortunately for Sergei, he did not see this way to play the position. He played h4. And now after knight e5, black is all of a sudden firmly in control. His pieces cooperate nicely, and he doesn't really have to worry about much, and he's just trying to win a pawn here. Knight f3, queen e4 check. King a2. Why not king a1? That's what I was wondering here. Because king a2, queen takes c4 check, but king to a1, knight g4, kicking the queen. Where does it go? Let's say I go to c1 just to protect the pawn. Yeah, of course, knight e3 is coming in. Aha. Black is just winning the exchange here. So he went to a2, but what's the difference? Why not knight g4 here? I think that's a logical question. Queen c1 and knight e3. Now you can play rook d4. Aha. With the king on a1, I would have been able to play knight c2 check here. So that's why king a2. Okay. Queen takes c4 check. King a1. Knight to g4. Queen to c1. Now Wishy is simply up a pawn. I don't see any particular compensation for white, and especially after h5. Wishy is winning another pawn and the game. So Wishy is now on +1, joining Nakamura and Carlsen, and he will be praying that the game between Caruana and Wesley So will end in a draw. Did I say Nakamura or So earlier? I hope I said Nakamura. Apologies if I didn't. So Anand, Carlsen and Nakamura on +1, and Anand will await the result of Caruana against So. But a nice finish by Anand, but a disappointing tournament in many ways for Karjakin. And yeah, let's see what's happening in the game. And I'm going to the game, Iceland against Ghana, so I'll have to hurry to make the video on Caruana. So I'll see you in that one. Bye bye.